Very happy to be here in a TEDx talks after years. I've done some before, but it's always good to be back in an education institute. Yeah? It reminds you of your own college days, and then you always go back and rewind and think that, okay, life could have been better if I had worked hard. Yeah, nonetheless. So, very happy here, and namaskar to all the esteemed people here and to all the beloved students. We had a beautiful performance here. Life एक performance ही है भाई साहब. इन्होंने perform किया, आपको भी perform करते रहना है. So over a period of time, before I begin and get into my topic, I will share a few things which I think could be important, could then probably relate to what my topic is. So in life, it's very important that you keep performing, like the way it happened here today. Yeah, today these people performed. Some of you watched in life, in time to come. Those who watched will perform, and these guys might be watching you. Okay, so stables change, but to change that stable, there is something which you have to go inside you. Okay, you don't have to go outside the world, you have to go inside the world. Now that's the beauty. That's the beauty is that we most of the time do not understand to achieve. First you have to go inside. Okay, you have to actually look at yourself and then ask yourself and then project yourself. So that's what happens, and that's what spices up your life, right? And that little spice is what you will have to find in life. And that's what my topic is. Okay, spice, an emotional and cultural story. अब simple सी कहानी है, हम सब इस सब को जानते हैं. I understand that for a TED talk, it's important to speak in English. But I will keep adding that little Hindi, which is very important. Now, why it's important, I'll tell you. Now, I studied in an English medium school, and throughout, I had this, that you have to speak in English, but never spoke in English in the school, spoke always in Hindi. Okay? And by luck, by chance, you get into a profession where if you don't speak English, you realize that you are not welcomed, because that's what hospitality demands, you know. You need to be fluent in English with a flair. अब हम वो छोटे से गांव वाली हिंदी बोलते थे, अब मैं वो आगे नहीं बोलना चाहता हूँ, लेकिन आप समझ रहे कि कैसी हिंदी होती थी. अब अचानक से हॉस्पिटैलिटी में यू आर आस्क्ड टू स्पीक इन इंग्लिश एंड देन यू आर स्ट्रगलिंग टू फाइंड वर्ड्स. Then I found that, okay, let's use only the simplest words which people understand, and that was the best thing that happened to me. So I would never struggle to find a word which is so difficult that I have to go back to the dictionary and find that what is the meaning. So I would say that, okay, let's keep the life simple, as you would keep your life simple with spices that I do for cooking. Okay. So kept the life simple there, then achanak I realized that, I have got opportunities on television. Now the madhyam has changed. To reach out to the world and for people to fall in love with you, okay, English does not work. Suddenly Hindi took over, you know. फिर अचानक से याद आया, अरे यार ये तो रिवर्स हो गई. क्लास 8 तक तो ये प्रार्थना करते थे कि यार ये हिंदी से कब पीछा छूटेगा. अचानक से हिंदी वापस सामने आ गई. अब वापस हिंदी का न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ना शुरू किया कि भाई साहब अच्छे से आती क्या पढ़नी, वर्णन ठीक से कर सकते क्या, जो बोलते हैं सामने वाले का दिल छूने लायक बात होती क्या. रिमेंबर दिस. नाउ दैट इज स्पाइस. एक ऐसा स्पाइस जो डलते ही इतनी खुशबू फैलाए कि सामने वाले की लाइफ को और यादों को छू जाए, कि हमेशा वो याद रहे कि यार वो माँ का हाथ का खाना पता नहीं क्या डालती थी खाने में, जिससे आज भी वो खुशबू याद रहती. So that suddenly became my life, that okay, you know, I prefer that whenever I go up on stage, any platform, okay, that communication has to be in the simplest form of Hindi, and then the whole format changed and started remembering Amitabh Bachchan. Okay, कि वो जब भी बात करते हैं तो हिंदी में करते हैं और बड़ा अच्छा लगता है. So life keeps changing like this, and I kept adapting to things like that. So let's begin with spice है तो life है. That's what I'm asked to do. Now जब आप spice की बात करते हैं तो आपको ये देख के क्या लगता है? मुझे What would you prefer? एक तरफ देखिए एक बोरिंग सा खाना है और एक तरफ कितने मज़ेदार वाली चीज़ पड़ी है, तो आपको अचानक से लगता है नहीं, स्पाइस हो तो ही मज़ा आता है, खिचड़ी हो तो कैसा मज़ा आएगा, नहीं आएगा. सो ये दोनों पिक्चर को देख के आपको लगता है कि जो चीज़ कलरफुल हो और जो चीज़ मज़ेदार हो वो ज़्यादा प्रेफर्ड की जाती है. अब यहाँ पे फिर से जाओ, प्लेन राइस versus a pot of beautiful biryani. Biryani as it is a beautiful amalgamation of so many spices to give one flavor in life. Okay, that one flavor is the most important thing. So when you make a biryani, you actually pound about 25 spices. Okay, each of them have their own perspective. Each of them play a different role, yet they come into one pot to define one goal and one flavor in life. Now that flavor is called biryani. Now imagine if you were to take it back to your house in a joint family. Okay, 10 people, one commandment, who is the Bapuji. Okay, everybody doing their own prospective job, one command from the top man binds the whole thing together. What big responsibility does he have? So those 25 spices, when we blend in a biryani, we have to particularly understand as a chef that if I blend all this right, and what proportion I need to add. So the moment I say what proportion I need to add to get the right biryani, which means that the commandment at the house needs to know what kind of responsibility each person will get in the house and how each person will perform so that everybody remains happy. So 25 things coming together, giving you one flavor, which is called a biryani, and which is the most unique selling dish, sells probably every 1 second probably in the country you sell more than 100 biryanis, That's the beauty of biryani. So when you look at things that are more spicier, you start loving it. At your age, everybody wants to have something spicy in life, something which is very unique. Now taking ahead this whole subject, let's take it ahead. We all know that, earlier, we will speak a little bit about the discovery, why India happened, and then we will speak more about common intellect, about the spice of life. Okay, we all know that India got discovered because of spices. Earlier trade used to happen because of spices. Spices were more valuable than gold in early times. Wars were fought because of spices. Trade routes opened up in the world because of spices, and it was the most valuable thing in the world. So pepper, turmeric, many such things which India was all proud about, which is what India was all proud about. Okay, so let's move. So this was more valuable. Spices were more valuable in the world. Am I struggling? Okay, these are the spice routes that you see. So spice in early times, which we all know that, people would come to India. India got discovered, trade routes were established. We were all lucky that we had so much of spices in life. Here our cooking was all with spices. Now spices play a very important role. I'll move ahead from here. Am I still struggling? Okay. So, spices in home kitchen. Now, this is what, when I was told that when you speak, people should carry back home something from what you speak. That's very important when you look at this subject, okay, spices in a home kitchen. Number one, when you look at your home kitchen, today's world will ask you to step out and enjoy the worldly life of outside and forget what's happening in your home kitchen. So, I always speak about this little subject that your home is where the heart is and your kitchen is the soul of your home. Managed by your mother or the elderly lady who's at your house, who brings in a lot of health and your well-being. If you are 365 days not having any issues, remember that the spice and the food you are eating is playing one of the roles. Apart from probably many other things like you are exercising, waking up early, you have a beautiful disciplined routine, but there is somebody who is cooking great food using the right kind of spices so that you are managing it right and your body is getting the right medicine. So, when your mother is actually giving you right things and advising you that बेटे अभी तो आपने मच्छी खाई है, दूध मत पीना, और न्यू जनरेशन का जवाब होता है, हाँ मम्मी, how does it matter man, what is this subject here, this is not right. So, early days would also be that, oh, you've eaten meat, you cannot drink milk in the night. So, today's date, the children will say, what rubbish, who said? This is not right. So, remember that knowledge that was there in the kitchen. I mean, fortunate that many of us chefs trying to revive back through a lot of home chefs put together. But remember to look inwards into your country now, and these spices play a very important role. Okay, when your mother tells that iske saath ye nahi khana hai, listen to that. Do not ignore it. If you are ignoring it, you are building a disorder which will reflect only when you are 45, 50. Okay, and that will be a irreversible disorder because you have spent 30 years abusing your body for many reasons and not listening to people. So, very, very important to look inwards into your home kitchen. You might not document that subject, but there are many chefs like us who are documenting that subject to translate it to the country and the children and the future of India, so that they carry forward that legacy and understand, and you will understand why it is very important and what played a major role in the pandemic that we went through. So, your home kitchen is a complete science which is undocumented, where spices are used by your mother in lot of intelligence which actually she cannot translate, but she will tell you that okay ye mat karo beta. And I will give you a classic example. I live in Bombay and my mother and my paternal house is in West Bengal. So, once in summer when I went back home, it was about 47 degrees, and the evening tea I was making, okay, I just put some pounded ground ginger into the water and I started boiling, because we all think that that's how tea is made, okay. And right in the middle of the summer, I am making that, and my mother comes from behind and she says, beta kya kar rahe ho, what are you doing? अच्छा हम चाय बना रहे हैं. बोले बट तुम अदरक क्यों यूज़ कर रहे हो? मैंने कहा अदरक क्यों यूज़ कर रहे हैं, बॉम्बे में तो 2400 मतलब 12 महीना अदरक यूज़ करते हैं. बोले तुम्हें पता नहीं है बाहर का तापमान क्या है? It's 47 degree and you are adding more heat into your body. What are you supposed to do? This is the simplest science. So she said ये नहीं डाल सकते, समर में डालना है तो सौंफ कूट के डालो, आप नहीं डाल सकते अदरक. एक छोटी सी चीज है, बड़ी मायने रखती है. Okay, when I went to Italy and I worked with an Italian chef, He asked me, "Chef, your country has so many spices. Do you actually change your food with the seasons?" I said, "Yes, it does not generally happens because the produce changes with all the seasons, and that's why you should eat what is produced in that season and accordingly use those spices while cooking those things." He said, "Yes, in Italy also we do that, chef." I said, "What do you mean you do?" He said, "You know, chef, we use tomato kind of pasta a lot in winters, and the greens and the cold pasta, which is like, जिसकी तासीर जो सब्जेक्ट होती है ना, एक तासीर पकड़ना जिसको कहते हैं. So we use a lot of pesto and no cream in a pasta for summers." I said, "How do you do it, man? For us in the country, when you go to dine out in a restaurant, you do order tomatoes throughout the year. You do order pesto throughout the year if you feel like." He says, "No, chef, we are very particular." This was in rural Italy, not in major cities of Italy, but this was in rural Italy, where the subject of using the right kind of spices and ingredients as per the time of the year was well addressed, which is what is still addressed, like the example that I gave of my mother. So she was very particular. अब आप देखेंगे यहाँ पे, ठीक है, यहाँ पे तिल गजक शुरू हो जाएगा अब आना, ठीक है, क्योंकि सर्दियां आ गई. To build enough mucus and lubricant and calcium and warmth in your body, तिल उसी समय खाया जाता है, साल भर नहीं मिलता है. आप मेरठ चले जाएं, ग्वालियर चले जाएं, ये सब जगह पे जब when you get that til gajak, it is only during this period. You might get throughout the year, but that is the time you are supposed to consume, because the Ayurvedic science of spices tells us what to consume in which season of the year, and we are blessed, and we've been ignorant, and we're losing, actually we're losing, not anymore though, we're losing this subject because the West influenced us so much, and we get so carried away by the fact that, what comes from outside is so very welcome, which is why I started my topic with saying that growth begins from inside. It is never from outside. The external factors might bring in harm or might enhance your growth, but it is you who will decide what is right for you. So never be ashamed of saying that, "Okay, boss, this is the way I have learnt in my life and this is the way I will carry it." A paratha has less calorie than a croissant. So remember that next time. Don't be ashamed that मैं पराठा खा रहा हूँ तो भाई गलत कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन खाने का तरीका पता होना चाहिए. You should know that, probably if you're using processed butter, yes, I would say it is harmful. But if you're using loni, it is the best thing to do. And if your loni is kept in a probiotic thing, say maybe a wooden, my mother would take out the churned butter from yogurt, from dahi, and keep it in a wooden thing, not in a metal thing. She would keep in a wooden thing that loni and give it to us next day, which means she gave enough time for probiotic culture to grow and bring in a lot of good things for your gut. She could not document it because she did not understand it. She never knew what was right, but she got the legacy from somebody. She saw that from her mother, her grandmother and all that, and she kept passing, but we kept losing after a period of time. तो ये आप डिसाइड कर लें, थोड़ी सी स्पाइस जीवन में रखें, so that you catch the right direction. I was born in a small city which had only education and only engineering as a background to grow in life, okay, but I chose a path which I decided that, okay, since I have chosen that path, I need to add up a lot of spice in that path and create an aura around and a flavor around that path, so that it actually leads to something which is very beautiful. So gentlemen, thank you so much for having me here.